Hey. Today what we're doing is I'm going to do a whole go-to-market strategy. I've picked a random company off of Crunchbase, and we're going to figure out how do we identify good fit companies for them? What sort of data do we look for? What can we do to really narrow in on that, especially using ChatGPT here to help us out? So I got started a little bit because my computer froze. That's what you get when you try to buy a lower end MacBook. All right, so what I did is I used the new ChatGPT app. It's fantastic. I found this company Inhabitr because I was just looking on Crunchbase for give me some recently funded B2B companies with 50 to 250 employees. I liked this company because they mention who we serve, so they have some understanding of their ICP, which is really helpful. And property conditions significantly affect guest satisfaction, revenue, and asset value. Has a good, unique to grasp stakeholder property nuance and craft tailored solutions. Okay. So basically, we looked at hotels and resorts. So what I did is I just went on an ocean. I did something super simple. Headquarters in the United States. I did hotel or resort. I did kind of mid-market. That's generally who folks sell to. So I got about 10,000 employees. Now what we need to be able to do is we probably actually want to do this by industry as well. Include any of is what I want. Hotel. What was the other keyword? Resort. Okay, great. So now we actually have hotels and resorts. A small list of hotels is not crazy, but I think we're going to start here because I'm doing it for free. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop into Clay. Lay. Oops. All right. Now I'm just going to do new table. Import companies from a CSV. We've got this nice ocean list here. And now we're going to have to basically figure out what are things that we're going to care about thanks to the ocean team. Wow, look at all these exports. Let's actually make sure that that's the right one. I think it should be. Yes. All right. We got about 1,000 here. Great. Blank table. And the questions that we want to ask here are probably about, let's watch some of these testimonials. You want to watch testimonial? Okay. What do we got?
My name's James. I'm the co-founder of a real estate development group called Nine Brains, and also Pacific 19, which is the brand that was built out of our first project in Kailua Kona in Hawaii.
Small. Look at these great.
You controlled everything from design through production, shipping, and then ultimately installation. So, anytime, the good thing, of course, is that when there were issues, you were able to quickly solve and pivot anything that came up because you were controlling so much of the process. Team is one of the great benefits, and I'll give a shout out to Mark here.
It's always good to actually
in Hawaii in particular.
Sign delivery.
Oh yeah. So opened. We're gaining occupancy very quickly and hitting our ADR numbers. So really, we couldn't be happier.
Oh, occupancy
and hitting our ADR numbers. So really
ADR number. So we should figure out what an ADR number is. Average. We should figure that out. So, but this is always why it's really helpful if they have customer testimonials, because you can kind of see how people are talking about it. Game changing.
Right? You don't come to the table with that solution. It's you tell me what you're trying to accomplish, what your budget be running out.
Oh, financing options. That's really interesting, right? Oh, ADR increase. Oh, average day rate. That's what it stands for sure. So fully furnished, under budget. All right. So we basically, rooms are small. So our quotes are going to be clean and comfortable. So this is what we actually want to find. So we're going to deploy the Claygent first. This is INHABITR. So the first thing that we want to do is deploy the Clayagent to, let's use, surprisingly, I pushed Clay pretty hard to get Claude Haiku, but GPT 3.5 kind of still works the best. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say because Haiku is so good. But let's start with Haiku because I asked them for it. I should be using it. Now what I want to do is I want to talk to AI. So I'm going to use Super Whisper. It's my greatest tool here. I'm trying to find summaries of negative reviews about this hotel only from the last 3 months or 6 months. You should search sites like Travelocity is probably the best one, or Google Maps reviews. And I'm specifically only looking for keywords that talk about the rooms or the furnishing or the design of the place. And I'm only looking for negative reviews. And what I would like is the date of the review, a quote from the review, and as many of those as you can possibly find. So give me a list of all the reviews that you can find that mention these specific things. Do not include any other text unless it is actual review text, and make sure to always include the date of the review. So we're kind of trying to see if we can find, and then I wonder if, they don't give me instructions. Generally, I remember you are an expert in keywords that people use to talk about negative hotel experience. Okay, so let's just start here and this hotel. So we want the... Now, sometimes this won't work. Let's run 10 rows. Sometimes this won't work because you need to break it up into further steps. So one step might be to find the actual travel, the TripAdvisor URL. Now we're going to do see if we can go a Google Maps here. Find business reviews, text, and keywords. This is what I want. Oh, okay, that's not what I want. Company name, company website, company address. I do have it. The raw address, thanks, Ocean. I don't know that. Great. I want the place ID. This is all I want. Let's do reviews and ratings. Let's run 10. Okay, so this is why you kind of have to look at this in multiple different ways, because now what I want to do is, great. So I've got the place ID. Oops, not what I want. Place ID. All right, let's run 10 rows here. So now I can go get information. Great, 8 Google reviews. We got a bunch of keywords now. Oh, gamble, boardwalk. Oh, smoking room. This is really interesting. Pit Boss Crafts. Okay, this makes sense. This is Now, this is kind of nice because it talks about the mentions, so I can kind of see what are people talking about. Whales. Falconry. Trump is mentioned? Well, how funny. How funny. Guilty, totally. Okay, I shouldn't do that. All right, let's see. I actually want to... Okay, this is interesting. Let's actually look at the business review information, see if the clay includes GPS coordinates. Wow, a lot of reviews. So one of the things that I always try to do here is I actually will go and great. There's a place ID. So this is really helpful. So you can tell, for example, that the negative, this is like not working well at all. So you can say, let's actually make this way simpler. This is a Google Maps URL. Can you summarize all the negative reviews about this place on Google Maps? Let's just switch to Turbo 3.5. Let's run 10 rows, see if this does a better job. Now, this clay integration is really interesting because we don't, when I do this a different way. We look at all the historical. We don't use clay to do this. I couldn't find any specific. Views rather than food. Okay. I mean, 0.3 of a penny, which is kind of interesting. So let's do this. We're going to try this a different way. I want to find the TripAdvisor. Let's actually do this manually here. I find that this really helpful. Don't save. Let's look up not a resort cat skills. Let's look at this guy. TripAdvisor. Okay, so now what I always think about doing here is going back to Google and see what happens if I go google.com, not maps, please. I do this. Worst. I basically want to see if we if I point Google at this, what will it do? Hotel, let's see. Because what you can do is you can actually, Google, it looks like Google's not indexing the actual reviews, which makes this harder. Well, let's not continue as me. Let's not do this. Okay, well, this is helpful. So there are a lot of reviews, which is really helpful. What I'm looking now is, you see how the page changes here? Okay, you see how it says or 20? So now I actually have a list of so if I find the TripAdvisor page, I know that if I add this or 20, that I can go see the different pages. So what I'm going to actually try is I'm going to go here in Clay, and I'm going to try adding, I'm just going to manually add the URL. And then I have this great enrichment, which I like, which is actually to analyze an image. And so I'm going to say, I want you to screenshot this page. And now I want to say, summarize all of the negative reviews here, but only if they talk about the furnishings, design, or the visual aspects of the location. So it's going to basically screenshot this. I want it to screenshot the full page, and then I can ask GPT-4 a question based on the screenshot. So let's go ahead and look at the response here. Let's run 10. No, don't run 10 rows. Oh, good. It will hopefully, no, great, error, amazing. So what it's going to do is it's going to screenshot this page, and then I'm going to be able to ask questions based on the page, what's happening on the page. So it will actually take the visual, not the text, and evaluate it. Signs of wear and tear despite being new, August. So this is actually perfect. So this is 0.7 of a penny. Now this is going to be page 1. page 1. Now, what I could do actually is I'm going to actually send the Clayagent to go find the trip advisor page for this company at this address. Address is really at this address. And return the URL. Okay, so we're going to run this, and we just want the URL of the page. Then we're going to do this really sneaky thing here, because it looks like if you look at the URL structure, remember we saw this earlier where you could click, oh, it wants to sell my information. Sure, sell my information. We could click on the different reviews. So let's see if I can find this page. Okay, so this is really silly here. Clay does this not Clay, but GPT 3.5 does this sometimes where, so you just have to, I'm not going to do it this time, but you just have to be more explicit about what exactly you want in the URL to make sure it doesn't give you gobbledygook. Okay, so remember what happened when we changed this page. So it adds or 15. So I'm going to do this really sneaky thing and do a formula. And then I'll probably wrap this up because you're getting enough of the context here. Look for reviews here. And in this case, we're going to and add in or 15. So inside of the URL. Let's just see if this works. Right after you find reviews dash. Oh, interesting. So in this case, I want to find the first or the first instance. Look for reviews here in the first instance you find. All right, let's just see actually how this works. Let's see if this URL works. You see how it says or 10? So let's see, or 15, or 20. Okay, great. So that actually looked like it worked. It looked like it pulled the second page. So really all you need to do, let's see, where are the reviews? Okay. So this is the third page. So all I would have to do in this case is actually change is to change the formula here. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this column, and I'm just going to say or 30. Great. I can't believe this worked. So if I scroll down here, that I should be able to see the third page of reviews. In case it's the fourth page. So this little trick is working, and it's basically near free to do this. And because I have the reviews now, I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to do Claude. I like to use Claude. And now what I want to say is, I always like to use haiku. These are a bunch of negative reviews about a hotel. What I want you to do is score them on sentiment analysis and give me a score between totally eviscerated and mildly dissatisfied. So I only want words like eviscerated, very unpleased, or mildly dissatisfied as the answer. I'm trying to figure out exactly how upset people are specifically with the decor of the place. And yeah, do that. Here's the raw text. So one thing I found is actually it's best not to put the raw text at the end because it weights answers towards the end. So I always put it at the top. Here's the raw text. And this is just the negative design review summary. So this is the response here. And system prompt, you know how people talk online about hotels and know what they mean when they write a review and how pissed off they are. All right, let's continue to add fields, response, save and run 10 rows. So I'm not going to run 10 rows here, I'm just going to run an example. So now we know, basically what we would do is we would create, I don't know, 3 or 4 different versions of this TripAdvisor URL, and we basically, very unpleased, bleak, drab, outdated. And this response is near free. It's very inexpensive. So you can kind of see how if you run this process where you look at the persona, you identify problems, you find where those problems leak out online, you summarize, you have to like figure out the mechanics to grab that information. This is sort of what we do as a service. So you saw an example of that. And then you have to summarize that information, and then you can develop a score to see exactly how good of a fit this company is based on what their customers are saying about it. So in this case, this company that sells to hotels has a really, really beautiful use case for Blueprint, for example. And this is the types of stuff that we would do for them. I hope this walkthrough was really useful to you about how I think about these problems and some of the mechanics of actually going and executing on this at scale. And would absolutely, I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful that you watch my content, and when you send me notes, I melt. Thanks again, and have a beautiful, beautiful Friday. Bye.